Hello, Pajama Crafters. Welcome to my craft room. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So this, I don't know if you know, is National Chip Week. So I'm going with potato chips in National Chip Week, which I didn't know there was a week for potato chips, but I'm kind of glad. I think we should all eat a bag of chips. So our little bear here certainly has his bag of chips, and we're going to be making this card today using a couple of sweet sets from Pajama Crafter stamps. So the first one and the main one is Happy Camper, where we've got our two little bears here and a lot of things to create a camping scene. And I especially like this little one here that says "Don't feed the bears." So I like that. And then I'm also using this little picnic tablecloth or towel, whatever you think this is, to kind of ground our bear and have him sitting on something. So and that stamp set is called Chillin' with the Herd, and I used our little cows not long ago for and I used the same stamp, and so I thought it would also work with our little bears. So those are the two. And then I'm also using one of our banners from our banner dies. And I'm using our paper collection called Spring Plaids. And I used the one here with the red. I thought that kind of had a picnic feel, and I liked it with the bear scene. All right, so in advance, I've gone ahead and I've stamped our trees and colored them, and I have 5 trees. And for this one, I was just using a scrap piece of paper. So because I know the way I have them designed here, I just went ahead and did just the tips. So you can always do that if you know how you're going to use them on your project. So let's go ahead, and we're going to start by doing a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to grab my Misty. That right down here in the corner. And this is just a piece of smooth white cardstock. I think the one I'm using today is Spectrum Noir. And so here I'm going to put my bear right here in the middle, and we're going to go ahead and stamp him. And I'm going to stamp him in some Copic friendly marker or ink. Go ahead and do it twice. I've been using the same ink pad for a very long time. All right, so now that we have our little bear stamped, we're going to do a little bit of masking. Let me go ahead and clean him off. So the next thing we're going to do is mask off our bear and stamp this little sitting spot underneath him. So let's see here. I have saved my mask. There we go. Just about like that. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is stamp the "Don't Feed the Bears" little sign. So I don't know if someone fed him or he just decided to help himself to somebody's chips. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, and then I'm going to remove the mask. There we go. So we have our little bear sitting there on his picnic blanket. And I'm going to add the "Don't Feed the Bear" sign. So that is how I stamped my little bear. And to color him, I have used a handful of Copic markers. So I'm going to go ahead and hold those up so you can kind of see the numbers that I used. And for my bear, I've used these right here. For my towel or blanket, picnic blanket underneath them, I used these reds. And I chose my colors to match my background paper. And then for my yellows, I used these right here. And for my chip bag, and then this one also I used in the chip bag. All right. Now for the video, I went ahead and oops, ta-da! I went ahead and colored one up for us. So I will slide this one into the stamp set. So if I want to, I'll have another one. I've also used some circle dies out of my stash just to make some circles for us to use in our design. And then I also have the banner. And now this banner starts out a little wider, and I just went ahead and trimmed it down a little bit on both sides so it would be a tad more narrow. And we're going to go ahead and stamp our greeting. I'm having trouble seeing, and I realized I don't have my glasses on, so there we go. Now I have the sentiment here that says, "Thanks for chipping in." And I want my banner to actually go this direction on my card. There we go. Thanks for chipping in. Just going to clean off my stamp real quick. There we go. All right, I think we're ready to put our pieces together. So we've got our trees. Let's start. We're just going to go ahead and layer up our, and when I die cut these are like nesting dies. So I knew that this is going to go on top. So I just went ahead and cut the center one right out of there so that I got my two circles all out of one kind of. So just like to conserve paper, especially when it's these kind of unique colors. I always feel like yellows are some that I just don't have a lot of options in yellows, and I like this color yellow. So it's a deeper color and I like that. So when I put this down, I'm going to place him right down here in the corner. I'm kind of lining up his blanket with my bottom of my card, but I want to make sure that my "Don't Feed the Bears" is still on the card itself. So like that. Now for this one. Right here. And this one is just going to tuck in just about like that. So before we put any of these other things on, I'm going to add some of my trees. I'm going to put one kind of taller and then have one comes down, and I kind of want this one up on my Chip Chip Hooray piece. And now before I put this on, I want to glue my trees down. I'm just going to place some more on him and then move my tree in there. All right. Okay, so the last thing we're going to place on our card is our little "Thanks for chipping in." I want that to be up a little so you can still see the bottom of this tree. But I'm covering up the trunk of this tree, so let's kind of get that straight. All right, to finish our just chipping in card, we just have to trim off the pieces that are hanging over the sides and add it to a card base. And there we go. Don't feed the bears. Chip, chip, hooray. Thanks for chipping in. So this coming spring, we're going to be doing a kind of a teenager camp that's out in the wilderness with our church. And it's called Camp of the Hills. And I thought this would be a fun thank you card for some of the team that are chipping in to help that weekend. It's going to be some work, but it'll be a lot of fun with just making sure I didn't need to trim that off. But that's what I thought I would use this card for. And so the fact that I'm going to end up with 2 or 3 of them is good because I have several helpers going that will be doing all kinds of different tasks. So I thought this would be a great thank you card for that purpose. Hopefully we won't run into any bears. It's in the hill country of Texas, so I don't think so. And put that on a card base. There we go. So I've got 2 of my thank you cards ready to go. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you are enjoying Chip Week and using it as an excuse to eat plenty of your favorite chips. And all these products will be listed there below the video. And I thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.